Hi, I'm Angela Coulter, here to bring you an energetic update on August 2015. And this is being recorded on August 8th, which people are calling the Lion's Gate of 888. 8 being in numerology, the two in 2015, 2 plus 1 plus 5 makes 8, so it'll be August 8th, 2015, 888. So you see a lot of stuff. Anybody who's into the spiritual, metaphysical stuff, you're seeing a lot of things out there about the Lion's Gate, about the 888 thing. Well, I am going to put that aside right now because we spent a lot of time, and we have traditionally spent a lot of time in this existence of duality and separation of, this information being outside of us. And not only that, but we create a whole lot of stories, and it's great. And I'm not saying that they're untrue. I'm just saying that they're just different filters on the same perception. So I'm here to talk to you in a simplified form. And you're going to ask me, who am I? I am an intuitive. I am an awakened, ascended master, as everyone is. We're all awakened, ascended masters, angels, archangels, you name it. We're all here for the big party. And we're all helping each other wake up and walk home. And remember, we're already there. So we're at a really tremendously awesome place. That's all we really need to know. Not only that, but we have gone through some major shifting in the past 3 to 5 years, especially. I mean, we've been shifting continuously for an entire generation, but the last 3 to 5 years, we've hit the uptick in the exponential curve, and it keeps on getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I don't know about you, but a day seems the equivalent many times of what a year used to feel like. And just today I was talking with someone about something that happened last year, early last year, and it was like, oh, that was only a year and a half ago. Wow, that was only a year and a half ago. Feels like it was like a decade. And that's getting even more prominent as we go along. And what I'm being guided to talk about is really what you can look at, what you can accept, not expect, but accept when it pops up into your reality. Because part of what happens is when people see these things like, oh, you're going through this gate, you're going to have this big transformation, and yada, yada, yada. Well, and some people say, well, no, I'm actually pretty much the same as I was yesterday and the day before that. Well, everybody's got their own timeline, and how it plays out in the third and fourth dimensions of space and time is very individual to your individual part of the journey as the divine expressed as you. So there is no right or wrong. And if you're not going through a transition, you might have already done it, or you might be going through it a little later, but we all get there. Trust me, I promise. So what's really important to talk about, though, is that we are, though, going through a huge stage of rebirthing. And number one is, as we do this, we are detaching from our encapsulation within the third and fourth dimensions of time and space. We're remembering that we have a consciousness beyond time and space in the fifth dimensions and higher. And so it's time for us to assimilate all of that consciousness and allow those parts of our consciousness that are outside of time and space to actually manage the portion of us that do exist in time and space. What happens when we do that is that we become far freer, far less limited, because the space and time thing was created to be limitations. That we had to do something in a certain box, and we had to do something in a certain way, in a certain form, and then the time, fourth dimension of time being, well, I've got to do it on this linear time in this linear way. Starting a couple of years ago, I started actually seeing the very, very big picture and the entire universe in its entirety of everything in one moment. Because there is no time and space. It's what we've created as part of this existence of duality and separation. So what's going on, though, is we're coming into this remembrance, and we have promised ourselves and promised each other, all as part of the oneness, that we are going to do it differently this time, because we have come to the point of universal transition. And I've been seeing it coming since fall of 2000, 13. And I mean, some have seen it before that or whatever, but I personally have seen it since then. And I had somebody take me outside of space and time before the Earth experiment, to my former consciousness, or the larger consciousness of which I am a part, and look at the bigger picture. And as I did, I was seeing this point in time that we had created. It was coming up and it was really imminent, and we were really nervous that we weren't going to actually get there. And I understood also simultaneously, and my friend and I did also understand simultaneously, that it was time for us to allow ourselves to know and trust that we will get through this point. Because I kept on saying like a zillion points across the universe line up, because we are so in the body, the part of us, the part of our consciousness that's in the 3D and the 3 and 4D, we box ourselves in when we're not managing from outside of that. And we forget the interrelationship, not just between each other, not just between all on the earth as an organism, but also throughout our solar system, throughout our universe, throughout the multiverse and all the dimensions, that we actually have this huge other big multi-dimensional chess game that goes on to explore what we have chosen to just explore in this whole duality and separation game. So time to shift into the next phase, or game up version 2.0, 10.0, 3 million.0, whatever it is. It doesn't matter, is that we're just shifting from one stage to another. And it's a very big one. And my understanding is this is the only time we're ever doing this way. And we are breaking habits of cycles that we have been in for a really long time. And we have caused a lot of cycles of reincarnation, regeneration, and rebirth. That's not the word I'm looking for. Restarting. We've cycled to remembrance and then crashed again. We've had many situations here in the 3 and 4D where we have come to a point of remembrance, and because of the lessons of the ego, we've crashed, because in that remembrance we have then gotten out of hand with our ego again. So we have promised again to ourselves and each other that we're going to surpass this, master this lesson, and move on. This time, finally, we're happy. This is the big party. That's why we're all here. And so the exciting part has started, because we have gotten past so many checkpoints we set up for ourselves. And it was earlier this week, I had this amazing dream where there were a number of us that were at this house in a place where I had done a retreat earlier this year. And the difference in this house was that there was a big, huge skylight in the center of it over the dining room table. And there was a group of others, and we were so excited and so happy about where we were. And yet I was looking up into the sky as everybody was, moving away and laughing and whatever. And then a friend of mine, or soulmate of mine, or whatever, she said to me, "What's the matter? What are you looking at?" And I said, "There's nothing the matter. I'm just watching. It's happening right now. The alignment. We're coming into that alignment right now." And I just knew my entirety that we actually got there. Not only like just by the skin of our teeth like we had in so many of our checkpoints, but we easily made it through this transition point. So how some people see it, they call it a portal, they call it a doorway. It's manifested in understanding and the filters of individual journeys and a whole lot of different perceptions. But really, it is a point of, we did this in completion, and now we're rebirthing ourselves into something completely new. Yay! The party is awesome, and it's just picking up speed. So, many of us have knowingly or unknowingly been implanted ourselves from the higher consciousness with the crystalline structure to transform us into a higher vibrational physical beings in a new space of Earth as we are transition, and the universe. And we're going to play with this new physicality in terms of a merged dimensions third, fourth, and fifth dimensions, and managing from higher ones. It's just my understanding. And what I always say in my presentations and anything I teach is always check this against your higher self. Check this against your own truth. Ask if this is your truth. This is how I understand it, and it's through the filter of my understanding, through the filter of my experience. So, like I said, it's just, well, and I always tell people all the time, it's all ice cream, it's just different flavors. So, what is happening? Is there's a rebirthing going on. I had a tremendous experience early in July at Mount Shasta, California, which I go to every year to teach a class. But I've been there early, and I had a huge, I just can't even explain the depth of this seed that I accepted that started this whole rebirthing process. And I actually have been set up for this for the last couple of years. But it was also not just me. It was a collective. It was a collective me. It was a collective us. And I could feel it rippling throughout our entire existence. And I know it wasn't, like I said, I know it wasn't just me. It was as many of us accepting it all simultaneously. And then it just rippling out to the rest, because we are at the higher consciousness all one. So that started, and it started this whole domino effect of changing and shifting, and it's been happening. But now, oh my goodness, hold on to your seats, hold on to your hats, hold on. Actually, don't even hold on. Actually, the key is let go. Let go and enjoy the ride. Enjoy the magic carpet ride, enjoy the current, however you want to look at it. We are truly opening the door into an entire remembrance of an existence of magic. Of what we would consider magic. Now, the funny thing is, people always argue, oh, well, this isn't magic, this is just this. Well, magic is how we perceive it, right? And we always have an element of fun and mystical and expanded consciousness and otherworldly. And I love the word magic because it imparts to me where we truly come from. I mean, just think about it. If we as one consciousness created all of the separation, all of these individual consciousnesses that we are, and then continue to split them and create more consciousness from the higher consciousness, and all of this existence, how magical is that, right? And the integration and the way across the universe this little experiment called Earth has an impact across everything. Don't let any channelings from off planet fool you. Because, and again, I always say, go ask your higher self. Go ask your higher self if this is truth. When you hear what I say, when you hear what any channeling say, when you hear what comes into you, ask it, and this is why it's really, really crucial for every one of us to have a very secure connection with our higher self. And how do we do that? We meditate. We clear our minds. We get into practices that allow us to be mindful and centered and quiet. Because it's there that we can feel our full presence. Anyway, so we have a lot of efforts at interference. We have a lot, and that's all part of the game. So by the way, there's a lot of stuff out there about limiting other beings, trying to limit us, other beings stepping in to help us. We're here to help us. We are the ascended angels and the star beings and the angels and archangels, and we are infinite and beautiful and amazing, and it's time for us to remember this while we're in the body and step into it. And so in the awakening and the dawning of this, we are rebirthing our bodies into this other form, this crystalline form that allows us to more easily remember that and embrace that and explore what that's like. In the process, we have a lot of big shaking up going on. And that's in our environment, around us, within us. Our physicality is changing, and in our physicality changing, there are symptoms that people are having that are undefined in terms of the medical textbooks, and that's okay. That's, again, the reason for asking the higher self, is this my highest and best? Is this going to work for me? What's going to work for me? And there's a lot of practice in that. And by the way, my contact information here, spiritualalchemy.net, trinityenergyprogression.com. You can contact me and I would be glad to help you. I helped a lot of people to remember how to do this so that you can step into your own power, your own divine truth, your own remembrance as to the amazing divine being that you are. So anyway, back to what we're going through. So this portal, this doorway, this rebirthing that we're going through, we are rebuilding ourselves in the physical on the fly, and we have not done this before. And this is what's so fun and exciting about it. We can do it with grace and ease, and we can do it with fun and loads of laughter. And it's a matter of letting go and allowing it to happen. And allowing it to happen that way. The higher we stay in vibration, and by the way, laughter, joy, and love all keep us in the higher vibration. So fun and play, totally up there. Allows us to transform faster and more easily. And if we stay connected, now here's the thing, a lot of times we get scared because, you know, it's sort of been like labor pains. It's been very, very much so like labor pains because we started with some big waves of shifting, then we had a break, and then another big wave of shifting. And as we've moved on, it's gotten closer and closer and closer. The contractions, or I call them the tsunamis, have gotten bigger and bigger. Until we're just riding the tsunami. So actually I had this vision like a week ago where I was on this tsunami on a surfboard. And it was funny because there were some dolphins in the wave, excuse me. There were also sharks in the waves. But the sharks, if you look at my energetic update from July of 2015, nothing to be scared of. But they were in there, and it was like I decided, you know what, I don't need these surfboards. I'm just going to surf the wave completely free of anything that I'm having to use as a tool, that I'm having to use as something separate that keeps me separate from the wave. And as I did that, I sort of hopped on the backs of the sharks, and I was sort of like doing the water skiing things on their backs, and it was really sort of funny. And then I finally just dove into the water and became with them and one with them, and we just flowed along on that. And it was fun and amazing, and my entire body just lit up energetically. And it's been like that ever since. It's really been an amazing just past week and 2 weeks. 4 months alone. So what's happening though is as this has picked up speed, those who've put off looking at themselves in the mirror and accepting and recreating themselves in a way that does serve them in the highest and best way, and doing so free from fear, free from limitations. If we haven't done that, it can be scary. It can feel like the whole world is getting pulled out from under our feet. And it is, because we're creating a new one. But if we're afraid of the unknown, it's very, very important for us to be able to get to a point of being accepting of what we don't yet remember. And the way I always look at things is not that we don't know something, it's that we don't remember it yet. We do have access to all of the divine knowledge inside of us. And that's what I teach with the trinityenergyprogression.com practice. So, but there are many others too. And part of it really simply is getting to the core of us and listening to the higher self. So the other thing that is happening is our 3D and 4D, as we've known it, have started to melt away. As we are transforming into this crystalline structure and remember how to access ourselves from the higher consciousness outside of the limitations of time and space, the things within time and space are starting to become warped, especially time. So some will say, oh my gosh, it's really interesting, and I have this all the time myself. 2 hours felt like 5 minutes, and then 5 minutes felt like 5 days. And it's inconsistent, and it changes constantly. And I say, yeah, that's totally fine, because we are remembering how to do this, to be here and not of it. And so there's a lot of warping that way. And in doing so, there's also a lot of warping in terms of what we call healing and well-being. And so part of it is our bodies are not used to having to transform this quickly. We've not, like I said, this is the first time for us, as far as I understand, in terms of doing it this way. And without the ego, we're doing this in a connected manner, and we're doing it individually and collectively. And remembering that we are all powerful, that we are all knowing, and that we can do this with grace and ease and fun, and it's okay, and it's totally in our power, not only in our power, but we created this and we decided and agreed on it anyway. So important is to embrace and trust that the higher self knows exactly what's going on, that the collective of us knows what's going on. And all we need to do is remember how to be in a space of love and joy and laughter. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, that sounds easy. You know, that sounds really easy, but I've got all this stuff crashing down around me. So let it crash down. If it truly feels, and again, this goes back to listening to your higher self and saying, does this serve me in the highest and best way? Even if the ego is comfortable and really wants to keep it, usually that's really a big sign that it's time to let it go if the ego is really, really desperately hanging on to something. And if we're desperately clinging on to something, it is the ego, right? Because fluidity is from that of love and connectedness and knowing that it's all connected and perfect. So part of that is really coming to that central place. Self-centralness is what I was calling in my Living the Shift show last week. And it's important for us to stay in that space of trust and love and centeredness and get there and know and trust. Because one of the really big messages I got months ago was stop trusting your eyes and only trust your guidance. Meaning that something that looks like what we would formally define something as within our sight, right in front of our faces, is not necessarily going to mean what it used to mean. It's not really going to say what it used to say because we're changing at thought speed. And you might get scared by this, and that's okay. But part of this lesson, part of this is to just realize that we're all holding hands and we're just freaking laughing our butts off because this is just the rush that we're getting from doing this way. Trust me, it's true. I know it sometimes sounds ludicrous, and I've seen so many who have their entire worlds just crashing down and starting from scratch and building it from the ground up, and that's actually pretty awesome when we can do that. And we can do it from a space of love and trust and with an open heart. So that's the summation. And all I can say is that's really what we're here to do. That's really what's important right now, this month especially, is listen to your body. If you need to sleep, then sleep. If you're awake, that's fine. Meditate, relax, give yourself space. Don't overburden yourself. And take some time to remember the love you have for yourself, an unconditional love, and know that it's really important for you to be there over everything else. So on that, we're going to do a little clearing, and in the clearing we'll just say, let's see, the creation statement from that would be, I accept all change, I allow change to flow in the highest and best way, and what is highest and best for me, so that I can step into my ultimate divine purpose with grace and ease and fun and flow. I am worthy, I am divine, I am loved, and I am love. And I allow this transformation to be graceful and easy and fun and flowing in every way. So everybody just close your eyes, sit comfortably. The intention is to do whatever's to be done so that we fully and permanently exist in and manifest from the vibration and reality of the statement that I just made, all with grace and ease and fun and flow. So let's go do that. It's really powerful. It started one place and went a completely different way. You're going to be watching a recording of this, and so know that you can have done this outside of space and time, and just doing it with the recording. And I saw plenty out there doing it with me, so that was awesome. So imparting, like I said, take care of yourself, work on that self-centralness, that core understanding, connection, and trust in the higher self. And if you need help with that, I'm here. There are many others here that are here to help. But this is what I do. My goal is to help you step into your own power, step into your own truth in a limitless way, without a whole bunch of ritual and ceremony, so that you can truly remember the divine within. This is Angela Coulter, spiritualalchemy.net, the originator of the energy modality and practice of Trinity Energy Progression. You can find me at either website listed here, or Facebook, Twitter at Spiritual Alchemy, and Coulter at spiritualalchemy.net, or Coulter at trinityenergyprogression.com. All gets to me, and I would love to work with you. So, signing off, lots of love, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.